Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. Riya Chakrabarti, the actor at the center of a national and it seems an international storm, appeared before the Narcotics Bureau wearing a t-shirt that spoke about smashing the patriarchy. Several of those in the entertainment industry made that their display picture or shared it in an apparent show of solidarity. But the one thing that's happened, irrespective of where you stand in the debate around Riya Chakrabarti, Kangana Ranaut, Sushant Singh, is that we're finally having a conversation about patriarchy. And as a woman, as a feminist, I say at least that is a good thing. Taking to Twitter, actor and model Deepanita Sharma called out what she said is the doublespeak in how women and men are regarded for exactly the same set of choices. She joins us now to talk a little bit about patriarchy. Deepanita, your Twitter thread really did catch my attention, but for those who may not have seen it, take us through some of the glaring doublespeak, hypocritical responses that society has when it comes to women. And when I say society, this often includes how women respond to women, because as I often say, misogyny and sexism and feminism are gender neutral. We're all products of the same patriarchy. We're all shaped and formed by it in different ways to varying degrees. So, when you said what you did, what are some of the things that really leap out and jump out at you?
I mean, thank you, Barkha. Very pertinent currently. I think what evoked the emotions, I think, is when we sort of came out in solidarity, for someone who we feel deserves a fair trial. We got, I got jumped at my throat over the fact that I just put out an opinion, what I felt about it. I mean, do we not have the right to do that? That itself, and there were men and women. And I think that is where it came from. And I thought back to all that I have, heard when I was growing up, till today. So all of it makes a lot of sense that patriarchy is gender neutral, like you said. And the fact that it's something so ingrained that we grow up thinking of a few things without even realizing it. Children are taught certain things without, them really experiencing anything, but it's taught at home, this is how you should be, this is how the boy is going to be. And, what are good girls and what are bad girls are already, told to you, right? So, which is why I wrote those examples, where I said, when a boy leaves a girl, there must be something wrong with the girl. This has been told to me when, because you've had some bad relationships.
Sure, we've all had them. We've all had them.
Yes, we've all had them. Yeah. But no, but like a woman has said this to a friend of mine saying, oh, there must be something wrong with Deepanita. If so many. So it's not about two mature people going their own way, but it's about something wrong with the woman, if she's gone through a breakup. But if the girl leaves the boy, then it's a big, thing. Oh, look at her, she is, that's mean woman, and all the horrible things. That
she's immoral, she's promiscuous, all of that.
That's why she has left him, and the whole, I think it's the same situation, and yet you are judged differently because you are a different gender. That's all that is. So, which is why when I said that, okay, so a 35-year-old man can be gullible, but a 28-year-old woman is manipulative, calculative, conniving, all of it. You don't even give her a chance. That is my point. I'm saying, how fair is that? Why is it not possible for us to look at something in a neutral manner, unbiased?
So I think the point you want to make, and I totally get it, is that you're not sitting in judgment over who's guilty, who's innocent, what happened, what didn't. You're saying try a person through a non-gendered lens, right? And one of the great examples in this case that leaps out at me is this talk about drug use, right? So Riya Chakrabarti is in jail because she procured, we don't know if she used, but essentially she procured likely weed for her then boyfriend Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, even here, Sushant Singh Rajput is not being made culpable for using drugs. it's Riya Chakravarti who has somehow, by scoring it for him, is the bigger criminal. So he is being infantilized, she is being vilified.
Exactly. So now, which is why I had said that. So a 35-year-old man is gullible.
Yeah.
And so on one hand, we have spoken about, how fit he was all of that, right? And he was, very capable. And on the other hand, we seem to insinuate, the ones who are insinuating, that she was forcing him to have something that he didn't want to have. How is that even, how does that make sense? How is that possible is what I want to know, Why is the fact that he might have indulged in something out of choice being completely discarded, So it's very sad that he's not here today. And we all feel for that. He was a bright guy and we all loved him on screen. But I'm saying, is it fair that today, just because his partner is here alive in front of us, she deserves to be persecuted like this without even a fair chance?
Yeah.
Also, the other thing which I kept thinking about is this coming from a teetotaler. I'm a teetotaler. And over the years, you meet different kinds of people. In college, you had these, when you were younger, I had these thoughts in my head. People who drink are bad, if they smoke are bad and all of that. As you grow up, you realize these are habits. A person does not become evil because somebody is, consuming something or it by choice, indulging in something. That is not evil.
So
the person doesn't become evil. It's a bad habit.
So here the argument would be, of course, that it's not about good and bad. It's about violating the law. But then, if Riya Chakravarti violated the law, so did clearly her partner, Sushant.
Yeah, and this does not make her. How does it? What was the case originally, and how does that make her, a perpetrator? And what happened to SSR? How does that, prove that? Because the cases are not connected. This is an individual choice about consumption of whether, marijuana or drugs, and it is illegal and what they did was wrong. But then they were partners, they lived together, and that is something they did together. And how does that,
make her more culpable than him?
Yes.
Is the first question to be asked.
Yes.
You have listed other examples of patriarchy online. You have even spoken about how, if, for example, a man leaves his marriage, as you said, then maybe there was something wrong with the woman. But the other woman that he may choose to have a relationship with is always the seductress. Is always right. So the constant othering of women, and how much women participate in it, because everybody's a product of the same awful patriarchy. How much of that have you experienced in your own life?
Okay. So this is the thing, since we propagate women for women so much, and we are, I have to say, in the larger picture, we are getting there, little by little. Yeah. But, how do I say this? I think what happens with women is, a lot of times, because we have been played against each other for so long, that you're the one who stays at home, you're the better one, but the one who steps out is, so the woman starts that competitive feeling, like, I am better than the other one. So that sort of, I think, starts happening to you naturally. I think in a larger sense, we as women, I think, need to start supporting each other's choices, which I think we are still lacking. Like, the other day, me and Dilshay have been married for a while, and we have not decided to have children yet. So the other day, and the fact that I decided to continue to keep working and all of that.
And please do keep working. Please, every woman must be economically self-reliant and have purpose at the heart of her life. I say this to, I don't want to sound like a nag, but economic self-reliance, creative independence just cannot be underestimated. But please go ahead. Yeah.
You're so right about that. And, in that, there was a quip from one of the, group people that, how they decided to give up everything to have, say, children. And that is more important than doing what I am doing, So I'm saying, see, this you know that something like that is not a nice thing to say, and it would hurt me. And I have not said anything like that to you, and I respect your choice. Isn't it important for you to respect mine? That's all I'm saying. I respect that you know, you decided to, and it's very important for you, and I really, really understand that, and it's wonderful. It's not easy bringing up children, and I so respect that. But I'm saying at the same time, it's important to respect that somebody has decided not to get married. Somebody has decided not to have children. It's all our choices. We must respect that, and we must.
And I think it's also okay for women to come out and say, I don't want to have children, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
so, or I never want to get married. I think there are many of us actually like that. And,
yeah.
You know, but I do want to ask you, you know, there has been a kind of juxtaposition of two female actors in this entire saga, Rhea Chakrabarti on the one hand and Kangana Ranaut on the other. Now, there was a time when Kangana Ranaut was actually in a position where everyone used to diss her, everyone used to judge her. And I remember writing a column then saying that about women who dare to be disliked, because she was disliked in the way that Rhea Chakrabarti is being disliked today. How do you see this comparison? And I asked you this because you said that one person is a beneficiary of very high-end security and another person is literally has the country going after her. So you don't see the analogy, but there are others in your fraternity who said that the way her offices were demolished, for example, suddenly because she was opposing the Shiv Sena, was also a kind of targeting of a woman for having an opinion that went against the government of the day.
So I think in what largely is happening in that arena, I will only be able to say that it breaks my heart that, you know, certain issues that we could have handled or addressed in a more mature manner has completely gone out of hand because it has become political.
Yeah.
And it is extremely evident. You know, I really do not want to get into what some of the channels are saying because I'm not blind. So I can see how political it's become, and that I think is the most heartbreaking thing about it. I don't think when you're on a public platform, I don't think abusing each other is a good idea. I don't think you can do that. You are, you know, you're public figures. People look up to you. We also seemingly live in a civilized society. I think there's a way of being. I really do believe that. But then at the end of it, when it goes above just two individuals, it, you know, it includes other agendas, then I think it is a thing to worry.
So you don't think that the two are an analogy that works for you, that these are two women whom everybody is in a sense arguing over and about, because you think one has power in the system today and the other is being denied that power or that agency?
Completely denied. If you see the visuals of how, you know, how Rhea was even treated, I think is enough for us to, you know that. And on the other hand, yes, and on the other hand, you know, coming back to the dichotomy that there is a section of people who stand up for one woman, but then not for the other, you know, and so conveniently. So there's that dichotomy as well. So there are a lot of unanswered questions, too many.
And in the meantime, there are yet others who are saying that there are larger issues here if you're really talking about smashing the patriarchy. One is getting paid the same for equal work. The other is calling out harassment in the industry. We've just seen an appalling set of allegations surface against Sajid Khan, and this is not the first time. There are, you know, you've been a model. There is a whole conversation around whether the idea of beauty is completely patriarchal and through the male gaze, and pushing women into a kind of beauty burden that is, you know, driving all of us bananas. And, you know, you don't want to say that we have cellulite and we grow old. So there are many other things here that if we really want to smash the patriarchy, we need to talk about.
You're absolutely right. And these are the things that, you know, now it has come to the fore in many ways. And you know, for a lot of things, I think we also have to thank social media, because everything comes into the fore in that sense. For all its, you know, probably disadvantages or certain negativities, there is a lot of positives, and I'm thankful for that. like the whole, idea of beauty. You rightly said, I've been an advocate of, not putting women in a box. We need to, like I keep saying, as women, we need to pull each other out of a box,
Yeah.
Because nobody else is going to do it for us. So I was one of the first ones, I think, as a completely new, model who had nothing in her hands, who said no to one of those skincare campaigns, like a fairness campaign, where I said, I don't want to do this, because that time it was simply that I don't think this is my idea of beauty, because I've grown up in the Northeast and I have, seen this variety of beautiful women, and they were all beautiful, and they don't fit into a box. So that was the beginning of my understanding of that. And over time it is, and today, yes, there is a big brand who has, dropped a part of its name, and that I think is a big step towards smashing off the patriarchy as well. So little by little, I feel, as you rightly said, there are so many layers to it. Little by little, we need to keep doing it. But yes, I think most importantly, we need to target the deep-rooted mindset. How important it is to let go of that slowly.
And there's shades of it in all of us, even the most enlightened feminists.
Absolutely.
We all have it.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a personal question in the end. One last question. What for you would you identify as the most sexist patriarchal experience that you've had, that you've been at the receiving end of, that you've had to experience and battle? Share a personal story.
Okay, so a lot of times I think people think that if you're from the fashion background, when you're going into the films, you might not have had a lot of problems because you've already come from one glamorous background. That, in fact, has been one of the biggest challenges for me. Even today, I have to constantly keep, proving that, hello, when I appear on screen, you've seen my performances, and yet I have to constantly, because they don't let go of the fact that I come from a glamorous background, and at the end, glamour, glamour is what she has, but can she act? This is a constant question. People think when you're thin, you're not body shamed. Wrong again. I always say that body shaming has nothing to do with the size. If I was thin, I have gone from audition to audition being told how skinny you are, and I'm sorry to say that's not kind. If a larger body type, it's not kind to talk about a larger body type, then it's not kind to talk about skinny. It really kills your confidence in so many ways to keep fighting that. The other thing is the fact that I'm from the Northeast. Can you speak in Hindi? Show us what you can, how you can speak in Hindi, like on the phone, So it has been a constant thing over time. Oh, you're from the modeling background, so maybe you just speak in English, So it's just, and I have to really tell them, I said, I actually speak my mother tongue, Assamese. And then I have grown to speak English and Hindi. I first started speaking Assamese, right? So, these are all levels actually of patriarchy. You're absolutely right, because basically it stems from a discriminating mindset, and then it percolates into every little aspect of your life, like I said.
Well, I think the great thing out of this completely sordid saga that doesn't seem to end is that women and men are having this conversation. I think this conversation was long overdue. More women than before in your fraternity are willing to speak their mind like you have. Thank you, Deepanita. Thank you. And it's a pleasure talking to you.
You're absolutely right.
Thank you. Thank you.